Church, a visible structure and an actual hierarchy. And he says, you can actually teach now. Teach in my name. The Holy Spirit will lead you into all truth to be able to teach in my name. And this is exactly what happens. In the Acts of the Apostles, chapter 15, there's this big crisis. And the crisis is the apostles have been evangelizing the Jews. So basically, they were all Jews. And they realized Jesus is the fulfillment of Judaism. Jesus is the Messiah we've been waiting for. And so they're sharing the good news with Jewish people. It was awesome. But then they realized, because Peter had a vision, and Paul was called to do this too, that they were called to bring the gospel to non-Jews, which is amazing and good because I'm a non-Jew and I get to be brought in, right, to the people of God. The question came up, okay, so when you evangelize Jews, all they need to get is baptized because they're already circumcised. They're already in the old covenant. So in order to be brought into the fulfillment of the covenant, the new covenant, they just have to be baptized. But if you're evangelizing Gentiles, question, do they first have to be circumcised and then be baptized? Or can they just be baptized? Now you can see at least two ways why this would be a very important question. One is if you were an adult Gentile man, this would kind of be a big question you would want answered before you, do I have to do this or is this kind of optional? You want that resolved ahead of time. But secondly, and even more importantly, if I need to get circumcised in order to get baptized and I'm not, that means I'm not saved. Like, do we have to do this in order to be saved is the big question. The problem is Jesus never taught about that. The Bible never teaches about this.
Now, maybe it's just me, but does this not scream non-essential? If the Bible doesn't teach about it and Jesus never felt the need to give us a directive on it, I think we can rest assured nobody's salvation is hanging in the balance. Otherwise, in my opinion, I think what we're saying is that God left us hanging, essentially to be damned, which is a flaw. And I don't find flaw in God because he's perfect. See, things like this being made legalistic is the reason there is a divide in the church. Because these things, which most would argue are non-essential, even Paul spoke of these things being non-essential. When we make them essential, there will be a divide. If we could all agree on the essentials, then we can have one church and everybody's allowed to think whatever they want about non-essentials. We will never know until we die and we are with God. It's not going to happen. So what can we do to come together as Christians is agree on essentials and let the non-essentials go. There are so many different theological ideas. There are so many different denominations. Everybody wants to be right. The reality is you're not. The reality is I am not. So we need to agree on essentials and let non-essentials go.